Hey guys, it's Keely Brown here. So my final persuasive essay is on should a college education be free to everyone? Okay, so here we go. Just think of it. Free college education. This is everyone's dream, but not everybody can obtain it. In certain states, there are places that can afford or necessarily provide a free education. New York is one of those states, for an example. But how can certain states be able to obtain and maintain the constant funding for a college education? One, Americans cannot afford it. It'll push us into debt. Two, too many students at once could damage your chances of snagging your degree. And three, we should work hard for the things that we want in this life. In a general status kind of thing, I guess, college education should not be free to everybody because we have a right and the determination to work hard for what we want in this life. If we have free college education, then how can we learn true sacrifice and the ability to work for what we want? These are fundamental life lessons that we cannot lose. Okay, so first, the U.S. is already in debt as it is, so we honestly don't need to keep putting ourselves into more debt. 2016 presidential candidate Bernie Sanders wants to promote free college education for all. But the problem with that is that America would have to generate a whopping $750 million just to make that happen. As I mentioned above, New York is one of the few states that allows a free college education. A standard total fee for an education at the University of New York is about $83,000. That's almost a stunning $10,000 per semester. Also, in order to receive a free tuition, students who want to participate in that college would have to apply for the Excelsior Scholarship. You do not have to be native to New York, and your family must have an income of $100,000 or less. So, we want free college education, let's say, but where would it necessarily come from? The money, per se. The money would come from taxes. But wait, isn't America already drowning in taxes and other fees? You guessed it, and you're right. We are. So, we've already put up our necks up into taxes, so why would we put ourselves into more debt by funding free college? Makes no sense. How can we continue to drive ourselves into the ground if we add on a free college education? Okay, now let's say free college education suddenly just happens in all the states. That would definitely increase the numbers of people coming to college. That's a good thing, and that's a bad thing. Because the more people that show up to college is more competition for your degree. So, the more people that show up, the more potential that you could lose your spot in that degree, if that makes sense. The danger of also having a free college education would be that you can barely get a job without some sort of a college background in these days and times. So if it's available for everyone, then people would take advantage of it, and that's not good. Also, another dangerous point of fact is that the future generation wouldn't know how to deal with certain finances in the future. Not knowing how to deal and manage with your finances is financial suicide. With everyone suddenly coming into college and not having to pay for it, how will they gain the fundamental skills that are fundamental to life? From a very young age, we've had some sort of an authority figure telling us that Whatever dreams we want to achieve and whatever we want to do in this life, we got to reach out there and grab it. If we receive a free college education, then how do we necessarily work up for that? Some people like the idea of free handouts. Others believe in putting your shoulder to the wheel. In our culture, we as Mormons have been instructed to learn as much as we can and do everything that we can obtain, and to do everything that we can so that we can obtain an education. If we work hard for our education, then you will reap very many blessings from it. One of my favorite commandments that is instructed to us is that we should have an education. President Thomas S. Monson quoted, "Your chosen field should be one which will challenge your intellect and which will make maximum utilization of your talents and your capabilities. Finally, it should be a field that will supply sufficient remuneration to provide adequately for your companion and your children." Now, that's a big order, but I bear testimony that these criteria are very important in choosing your life's work. Russell M. Nelson also quoted, "Our Creator expects His children everywhere to gain an education as a personal endeavor. When you leave this frail existence, your material possessions will remain here, but the Lord has declared that the knowledge you acquire here will rise with you in the resurrection." In conclusion, college is something that we must work for. It may not be a goal on everyone's list, but if we make it free, it sure will be. I'm not saying that a college education for free is bad. There's a lot of benefits from it. We should be willing enough to make a sacrifice for our educations, though. Would you want to work hard for your education, or would you want to slide by freely and skip out on the many life lessons that you can learn by not having a free college education? Okay, thanks guys. See you in the comments. Bye.